Hi and welcome back to the channel. So I am so excited to actually introduce today that I am going to be doing my first ever August show and tell video. I'm going to show you all around my allotment. This is the ideal time. Everything is in full bloom. The fruits, the vegetables, everything is growing absolutely fantastic right now. It's all green, it's lush. We haven't had much rain, but I've tried to water as much as I can. So join me on this journey and I'll show you everything I've got growing down at the allotment. So first things first, let's have a look at the kiwis. They have gone crazy and they have actually escaped the plot. Come with me. Okay, so just through this archway is actually where you come into my plot. And in this corner against the corrugated iron is my kiwi vine, Kiwi Jenny, which is a self-fertile variety. And this has produced the most kiwis I've ever seen. There's bunches galore. I got my first ever kiwis last year, but I got about 6 and they were half the size of this by the end of the season. But the title of this video is They've Escaped. So let me show you outside the plot. Okay, the vine itself, very vigorous. But look at these. These are the best ones growing outside. They're growing outside of my allotment plot. And there are just hundreds of these beautiful, juicy kiwis. I'm going to have to leave it for this year, but maybe next year I'm going to train it back inside. I don't want anyone pinching my kiwis. Anyway, let's get back inside. Okay, as we go back through the Montana clematis archway, right in front of us we've got some Musa Basjoo bananas, and on the right we have my wonderful brown turkey fig. This is covered in figs and they are about a week or so away from being ripened and I can't wait to try them. I've covered every single fig in a little tiny bag, a little fruit bag, to protect it from the birds, because if I don't, they get the taste for them and they will demolish this whole tree and I'll get no figs. So every single one of these is wrapped in a little bag. Also, just to the left of the fig tree is my Bramley apple. And these apples are doing fantastic. Look at the tree, it is laden with apples. Some of these branches actually look like they're so heavy that they may snap off. Look how thin that is, and a big bunch of apples on the end of it. So hopefully all of these will ripen nicely. Look at these, just such a lovely colour and texture. So that is the Bramley apple. You might be able to hear the water running behind me. This is my pond with my solar fountains in. So I've got a solar waterfall. Just that noise of the water is so tranquil. And I've got a nice little fountain. I've got a feeling that's gone a bit funny, but it's nice. Helps filter the water as well. You can see how clear that is. And even enjoyed by my lily pad. Lovely pond that I built a couple of years ago. Okay, it's such a nice day today. It's really showing off the plot for all it's worth. Just in front of me here, this is actually going to be a topiary reindeer one day. I need to just cut it in nicely, but it's got the body. It's all starting to take shape. It's got the 4 legs on it. So once I trim that back, that'll be a future video. Coming just in front of the Polytunnel, we've got the pears. These pears have done so well this year. Maybe it's the warm weather. I don't know. They won't be long off from being done. Look at the size of this one. That is a juicy pear. Okay, there's the bigger Musa Basjoo bananas. I'll show you them in more detail in a second, but we'll just have a quick look inside the polytunnel. So most things have been cleared out from here now. Actually just use it to chill and have a cup of tea. But on this side, you may see it. This is the Cucamelons. Now, I didn't realize that each little baby cucamelon, see these little tiny ones, they have a little flower on the end, and that flower needs to be pollinated. And I've had this door shut, so no bees or flies or wasps or whatever pollinator could get in was able to pollinate my cucamelons. So for the last few days I've had it open, and already you can see the size difference. That is my first swelling up cucamelon, and before we know it, this whole vine, well, multiple vines, will be covered in cucamelons. If you've never grown a cucamelon, you really should. They are fantastic. They grow to the size of a large grape, taste of cucumber with a hint of lime. Absolutely fantastic. And I've linked up my solar watering system, so I don't even have to come down and water in here. That's just a water butt. Takes the water up here, goes into the solar powered pump, and then comes out again. And these little drippers just drip. They go off a couple of times per day and keeps this soil very, very wet, and waters directly at the roots. Doesn't soak the whole plant, doesn't use too much water and waste the water. It just keeps this plant nicely watered for me, allowing me to go on holiday and not worry about it. In fact, there's a little pollinator in there. There he is. He'll be pollinating all those cucamelons now, and obviously getting a little bit of nectar and pollen or whatever he takes for himself. Okay, let's get out of here because it's too hot. Coming back round, we've got the cherry tree, which has gone a bit overgrown, and the apricot tree, which is next to it. I will be lopping these very soon. Now they've finished fruiting, it's safe to do. This bed, you may think, a bit messy, and it is messy. That's going to get cleared, and I'm going to be putting in some Christmas potatoes next week, growing them for Christmas Day. This is another one of my apple trees. Hasn't done very well in recent years, but it's a golden delicious. This year it's done very well. There is apples. I think this one's got even more apples than the previous Bramley apple. Again, you can see some of those branches are so heavy, just full of apples. Has this long hot summer been a good year for apples? I think so. Okay, come and join me inside the greenhouse and I'll show you what's grown in there. We've got tomatoes, we've got cucumbers, we've got crystal apples, we've got grapes, and we've got melons. Okay, this is a double greenhouse that I put in about 10 years ago. It does so well for me. Right, on the left-hand side, I've got 7 different varieties of tomatoes. Let me show you each one. So the first ones are called Honeycomb. And believe me, these are the nicest tomatoes I think I've ever had. These win out of all of the varieties I've got. I will be doing a tomato taste test soon, so we'll be trying them all. But so far, they have been so sweet and so juicy. Just at the back here, we've got Cocktail Crush, which is a bigger tomato. And you can just see the first ones have gone red. Down there, they're ready to harvest, so I'll be able to take some of those home. Just in front of it, a really, really sweet variety called Sweet and Neat Lemon Sherbet. Now, it's a bush variety, very low down, quite a small growing one, but these are lovely yellow, sweet tomatoes. I'll be doing these again, just because it's so compact, it's really, really easy to grow. Next to it though, and I've been given a recommendation on this one, that this one will be the favourite, Indigo Blue Beauty. In fact, you can see it on that picture, and it's very close. It looks almost identical to what's actually grown. I haven't tried these yet, hence why I said that the Honeycomb were the nicest. But these are a whopper, and look at the colours. That is wonderful. I've got quite a few of these. This one hasn't ripened yet. You can see the colour on them. Quite a few there. Some of them are actually splitting. They got too so big. But that one has been quite prolific. So that is the Indigo Blue Beauty. Next to it, I'm really impressed with these. These are the Sunstripe, and you can see by the coloration of them, how pretty are they? They're nice. They've got plenty of flavour. Probably not quite as sweet as the Honeycomb, but very nice. Look fantastic in a salad. In fact, look, if you see the colours of them. Sunstripe, they really do live up to their name. Then we've got the Supersteak. Anyone who likes their beefsteak tomatoes, this is an absolute whopper. Look at these. These haven't started to turn yet. Oh, in fact, is that called bottom rot? Ooh, might have to keep an eye on that. But the one next to it, that's absolutely fine. These ones here. But again, been really, really impressed with these. Can't wait for those to change colour. like the one at the back there. I think that is even bigger. So these are the Supersteak, living up to their name already. And then the final variety, which I actually sowed from seed, these are literally the cherry toms. That one's come off right in my hand. I think they're called Sweet Million, these actually. I'll be able to take that one home. Leave it there for now. But these are all starting to turn. These are, again, very, very flavoursome. You can see them there. What a great bunch that is. I grow all my tomatoes every year in these planters. Again, I've got them linked up to my solar watering systems. So this type just goes right down into the roots, waters a few times per day, keeps that soil lovely and wet for me, so I don't have to come down and water all of these. Then just on the right hand side, these are more Sweet Million cherry toms. So I did all these from seed. As you can see, we've got plenty, and they're also starting to change and go red now. Lovely tomatoes. Okay, going a bit further down into the greenhouse. I've never grown peppers before, sweet peppers, but I saw quite a few channels growing them last year, and I thought this year I want to grow my own, and they have done very well. Look at the size of these peppers. These haven't changed colour yet. These are going to be red. Something has attempted to get in there, but I don't think it's penetrated it. Then we've got some snack peppers. You can see at the back, full of peppers. So many peppers. Once they all turn red, that will be fantastic. I think we've got one in there just about to turn. Not sure if you can see that just behind those. Can't quite grab it without damaging them. And then all of these, there's different varieties of peppers. Some big, some small, some long, some fat, some thin. But these, I will be growing peppers now every year, so I must have about 10 pepper plants in there. Just before we go down to the bottom, I want to show you what I've got growing. I have grown, or got my first ever watermelon. Now, I'm going to have to probably protect it because it's going to get heavy, and I'm not sure how secure that vine is. It's grown up this wire mesh. But look at that, he is getting big now. My first ever watermelon that I managed to get to germinate. So I'm very happy with that. Will it go to the size of a proper watermelon you buy in the shops? Who knows? But I do have some other melons, and these are called Melon Pepito F1. Look at that. They look fantastic. And just underneath here is my first one. Well, the first big one anyway. The way to tell if a melon's ready, just sniff it. If you smell melon, it's ready. If you can't smell it yet, it's not ready. So that one, he is growing nicely. There's a few more that's grown. This one's got itself a bit trapped, but not too bad. And then I've got a few just dangling that have grown up the vine, or grown up the string, should I say. I've got one there. We've got another one there. I think, yeah, there's another one there. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 6 melons at the moment. I think we're going to get more. These plants look very healthy, so they'll be nice. And then you might have just spotted them. These are my cucumbers. These are called cucumber Femspot. Look at that, 90p for a plant. And I've got, well, I've already harvested maybe about 10 cucumbers, and we've got cucumbers galore growing all over it. Plenty. Oh, look at the size of that one. That's a whopper. Be able to harvest and take a few of these home. I'm going to take advantage and stand in front of my solar powered fans. These are brilliant. Get these in your greenhouse. One of them pumps air at me, so nice cold breeze. It's just hitting me now in the face, and then that one takes the hot air out. One pumps in, one takes out. Look how high these are. These cucumbers go everywhere. They're fantastic. Just dangling away. Beautiful cucumbers them. Really recommend the Cucumber Femspot. Now, this is again something new, never grown before. You might say, what is that? This is the crystal apple cucumber. This is just a big cucumber, the shape of an apple. And I've actually just spotted a huge one, absolutely huge, right at the back. Let me see if we can get in there. Can you see it? I'm going to pick that. I wonder if I can get in. Will it come off? yes. Oh, yes. Wow. Check this out. This is the crystal apple cucumber. Now, I am going to take this home. My daughter loves them, but that's the biggest one. Look at the size of that next to my head. Maybe that's the sign it's ready when it goes that colour. I've harvested quite a few of these, and they really are just a big cucumber. There's a few little spikes on the outside of it. They can all rub off. I think that just protects it from any kind of predators. But look at that. Crystal apple cucumber. Wonderful. So now I've picked it. Maybe some of the others will start to grow. Look, here they are. They're growing all along this vine. They're all ready to start swelling up. And as I say, there's one there. That's going to be the next one ready. But I am very, very impressed with these. These will be getting grown next year. In fact, that looks like a mini pumpkin, but it's not. Okay, let's continue. Final thing to show you in the greenhouse is my grapes. You may have spotted them anyway, just dangling down. I'm always hitting my head on them. These are seedless white Lakemont grapes. And every year I get about 50 bunches, and we just take them home and eat them like sweets. You can have them on your cereal, you can have them just as they are. Wonderful grapes. Look at those bunches there. Done very well yet again. Okay, I'm going to take you outside the greenhouse now. Again, these beds being a bit abandoned this year. These were raised beds. I'm going to clear them. I'm going to make an actual, well, I'm going to add some more apple trees. Going to make a little orchard there, I think. And then there's an old greenhouse that I can need to put up somewhere. But if I just spin you around, just there are the Musa Basjoo bananas in all of their glory. I chop them back every single year, cover them over the winter to protect them, but I chop them back to about there. And then all of this is the new growth from this year. I love my Musa Basjoo bananas, as you can probably tell. Okay, a strange one. This is a medieval fruit. You may have heard of it. It's called the Medlar, or otherwise known as the dog's bottom, because it really does resemble one. So they'll go about twice the size, and then you wait until the first frost, which softens them up. They go really sweet. In fact, that one's fell off. Good one, great, heavy-handed, but there are plenty on here. The dog's bottom. Okay, shed needs a bit of a tidy, but in fact, let's go inside the Trampoline fruit cage. So I had to do something drastic because the birds were eating all my soft fruit. So I used this old trampoline and covered all my soft fruit. So we've got the strawberries. They're still coming nicely, although we've got tons and tons of runners. There's so many, they all need potting up. But we do have some nice strawberries. I'll be able to harvest some of those. More strawberries on the floor. We've even got the Japanese wineberry. They're like a little tiny raspberry. Quite nice, quite sweet. But again, everything in here is now protected from the birds. I've even got my wire mesh on the top. I've got my yellow raspberries. They're doing great. There are going to be tons more of them in the next couple of weeks. The red gooseberries have mostly finished. There might be the odd couple left on there. You can just see one there actually. Lovely. You can eat them straight off the plant. Don't need to boil them up. Lovely red gooseberry. And then in here is masses and masses of red currants. I need to take a lot of them off, but most years the birds eat them all. So now they're in my fruit cage. They are protected. There's actually some more raspberries just back there. So this will be getting a little bit of an overhaul next year. I'm going to take out the red gooseberry so I can walk up and just move that somewhere else. But these raspberries, they pop up everywhere. I haven't put these in, but as soon as, look at them, they will be becoming more yellow raspberries very soon. And I love the yellow ones. They're very sweet. We'll take you outside again. Oh, got to show you my other pears. These are the conference pears. Not quite as many as I normally get, but they do look quite healthy. Nothing's had a go at them yet. Nice big juicy pear. We've got a fair few on it. I think there'll be a couple of dozen. So they're doing quite well. And then we'll head off down to the back of the plot. I've had to cover my beetroot. They're doing all right. The birds, in fact, let's show you there. There we go. I've got my soaker hose going. Really good. Just turn that off on when I'm at the plot. It's just circled around all the raised beds, and that just drips onto all of the crops that I've got it draped around. But yeah, the birds were having a good peck at my beetroot, so I've now covered them inside this cloche. I've actually got some more raspberries. Oh, they're looking good. They're ready. I didn't plant these. These have just come up. I think you call them volunteers when they pop up out of the blue. So a couple more raspberry canes. I do like the cane variety. You can also get bush varieties, many different types of raspberries. I like them in the cane type. A second to last apple tree. This again is another Golden Delicious. Don't know what to scratch that, but some of these looking wonderful. They'll go twice the size. Maybe another month from now, I'll be able to harvest them. Look at these. Some of these are just lovely. Although I don't like the fact that something's gone in there. That one's wasted now or ruined. But there's many others that are delightful. That's the Golden Delicious. Got this raised bed here. There's plenty in here. We've got some courgettes. Oh, that one's getting a bit big. Might have to take that one off. Got another courgette plant over there. About 3 or 4 on that one. We've got some outside tomatoes. Always grow a couple outside just to see the difference and to prolong. Just to prolong the harvest. So some lovely outside variety. They're against the greenhouse, so they do stay nice and sheltered and warm anyway. My sunflowers, some of them have just started to flop over a little bit. Birds, not the birds, the bees love them. Not on this one, but usually we've got bees all over these big sunflower heads. You can see it's bent over. But the biggest one, in fact, that one's flopped now, but this one is covered in bees. Can you see them? There's bees all over it. Don't know if the camera's picking it up. Yeah, there you go. They love the sunflowers. That is so big now. Just to give you an idea of how big it is, there he is. Oh, there you go. I'm touching on 6 foot tall. That is about another 4 foot taller than me. Absolute beauty. Stem. It's incredible to think that just came from one little seed. And look how many canes I've had to put in just to try and support it, because it is a bit of a monster. Looks great though, especially with the blue sky behind it. And as I say, the bees are really, really enjoying the sunflowers. Okay, this area needs a bit of a tidy. It's definitely gone a little bit overgrown now for my liking. This is where underneath my pergola that I put up over the winter. It's meant to be a tranquil paradise area for me to sit. But I've started training certain climbing plants up it. So I've got a grapevine. You can see it's already about 5 foot high. That is a cutting from the one inside the greenhouse, the Seedless Lakemont. No idea if it will grow as well outside the greenhouse as it does in, but it can be a good experiment. And then over here, I've got another Montana Clematis, which is already now starting to go a bit crazy. They do call it mile a minute because it grows so fast, but this one is in a pot at the moment. I want to clear this whole area. Then I think I'm going to plant them in the ground. I do have some roofing sheets, polycarbonate sheets, and they're going to go over the back so that if it does rain, I've got a nice place to sit. But because the sun is behind me, I'll still, and you can see where it is. There we go. I'll still be in the sunshine with a little bit of a roof. It might make a little microclimate under there anyway, which will be nice. I think I'm going to do all this over the winter. If you haven't yet liked and subscribed, please do. You'll see all these videos coming up. Bit of a jungle over there. Here is my final apple tree. If you like your pink lady apple, This one is about as close as you're ever going to be able to get to it. This is the Fiesta apple. So it's a nice pink, sweet apple, but sadly, whatever bug went into some of the other apples, they have managed to get into these as well. I think they'll be fine. I think I'll just be able to chop off the little infected bit, but we won't know until they're ready. But again, some of these branches are so heavy, I've had to just balance them on this chair, because otherwise I think they will, yeah, that'll snap. So pop him back on there, and the chair is just doing its job, balancing them. Okay, we've now got the pumpkins, and I've got about 5 pumpkins that have started. So there's one. Coming down here, we've got this one. He's grown or swelling up quite nicely. There's another one down there. But the biggest one has already escaped the bed. And here it is. And I don't like the fact it's already starting to change colour. We're only August. It shouldn't start going orange until maybe October, at least September, October time. So we shall see. Maybe I'll get an early pumpkin, but that's a decent size, very healthy looking. These were just grown from a pumpkin that I bought from Morrison's last year. Saved the seeds, planted them up, and now I have my own pumpkin plants. Okay, and just before we finish, I do want to show you my plum tree. We have got plums this year. Last year I got nothing, maybe because I pruned it too harsh in the winter before, but this year I left it, and now I've got some nice big juicy plums. They are just kind of underneath the branches, so some of them, once you lift up the branches, you find them. Wouldn't say I've got loads of them, but there is plenty of plums on there, some around the other side as well. And I'm just hoping that when they do go ripe, I get them before the birds do. That's a decent size, that actually. Just hasn't fully ripened. When it goes completely blue or purple, then it's ready. In fact, there's a few more down here. Oh, there's a nice big bunch of plums. How'd you like those plums? Okay, so finally, I just want to show you my Blackberry Wall. I call it the wall because right along here is just so many blackberries. Okay, look at all of these blackberries. As far as the eye can see, there is just blackberries galore. Some of them I can't reach, but these ones here, look at them. They're swelling up nicely now. When they go like big and plump like that, they're so sweet, so juicy and full of flavour. I've actually got 3 areas on the plot which grow blackberries, but this is by far and away my biggest haul. Some of them are just delightful. A punnet of blackberries, what are they, about £2 in the shops? I could probably fill 100 punnets per day at the moment if I picked all of these. They're just everywhere. So happy with them. Okay, so just before I go, I want to say a huge thank you. I have now got over 3,000 subscribers. I started this channel over 3 years ago. It's taken a while, but I really enjoy it. I really enjoy what I do down here. I have my allotment plot. It's my escape from life, but it's also where I grow all my fruit and vegetables, and really just, you know, it's my little place. So thank you all. Thank you for watching. Please take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.